This is gonna sound really screwed up, but I would say something that I've witnessed that I feel like everybody should witness is watching your parents cry. It made me remember that everybody is allowed to have emotions and everybody processes them differently. Watching your parents cry is watching them feel defeated, and it's okay to feel defeated every now and then.
I just have to say, having like lots of intimacy with people. There are times when people just kind of let themselves become lost in the crowd, be part of a group, but like still alone. And it's having those best friends by your side, maybe just being together doing nothing, or being together at a concert in front of millions of people. Either way, having those people and sharing an experience.
I've experienced a lot of things in my life, a lot of downs, a lot of ups. But the one thing I think everyone should experience is a heartbreak. I think, and it's kind of hard to explain, but for me, I think you learn more about yourself when you go through that type of stage in your life, or that period. And it's just something that it's hard to explain, and you can only know about it if you experience it.
Talking to strangers, because people are really interesting. I mean, like, you're all okay. But no, just being up here, it's really amazing what you'll learn from people and the stories you'll hear. And I do this thing to go out of my way to find these people. It's incredible. And you, from doing it now, I feel like everyone who walks by is like a missed opportunity of something that I could have learned, some story or some inspiring. And you never know who's had what in their life. You really never know.
I am an art student, and I think that one of the most fulfilling things that you can do is just like create something out of nothing. And so I think that one thing that people should definitely like experience in their life is just being able to kind of like create out of nothing and like create a painting or like create a sculpture and like be proud of it and be proud of what they've kind of created. So I do mostly like figure and like portrait paintings, and so it's always interesting for me to just see like this blank canvas or this blank piece of paper just come to life with a little bit of like charcoal or a little bit of like pencil or like paint or something. So yeah, generally just kind of like creating like a face or a body, just out of like colors or like things that you maybe wouldn't have like thought to put together.
Travel, learning about other cultures, experiences that are going to expand your worldview to kind of help with perspective. So yeah, I've been privileged enough to be able to experience aspects of the world. A lot of the students I'm with are from all over. Actually, I'm the only white person, and so it gives me a good advantage to, I think, others, and that I have the privilege to do these things because of where I come from and how I grew up. So it's nice to learn about others who don't have that and to offer them perspective I've learned. I've been to Sicily. It's a different culture, right before the pandemic, and so it kind of hit hard, knowing that the pandemic hit them pretty hard. The more, I guess, less venturous part of Sicily, the mountains of Sicily, so to see how people live more off the land versus, production. And then I went out to California, specifically upstate to Sequoia King National Park, and got to learn from people about how they protect aspects of our nation to make sure it stays intact for future generations. So we did part of that with surveying the sequoia trees there.
Clean up your community. I think that you don't realize how easily there's trash all around. We're in a nice park like today, and it's so easy to see a nice clean park, but when you go to other areas that people don't pay attention to, you see how much of our own litter just ends up in places that shouldn't be. And at the end of the day, it's trash and plastic that we're consuming in our everyday life. So I think cleaning up in your own community.
Definitely traveling abroad. In 2019, my sister was doing an exchange program in Madrid, and the city was so beautiful. Just like, I'd never been on that long of a plane ride before. Experiencing Europe was really beautiful. And speaking to people like in their own native language. Not a lot of my family speaks Spanish, so it was just kind of like me and my sister translating for everybody. But it was a really interesting experience, and just like how like city life is, and it's so different from America. Like they have like nice like walkable cities. Like most people take like public transit. Their food, it's so good. It's like fresh and like actually like home sourced, and it was just such a different experience. But I think that's something everybody should try and do.
I think someone should experience it exactly know what it's like to have an emotional connection with someone just from conversation alone versus just the traditional constructs of like just standard monogamous relationships, because that is what our current society, if you're in the United States, has been sort of like a means of indoctrination in terms of like what systemic religion is already set up in place. But actually having a genuine conversation with a human being and see if you connect based on values, morals, and virtues as well. But just even another discussion with that. But really, I think just a big overall arching theme is just falling in love with someone just from just talking alone.
Skydiving, definitely. Like, it's terrifying, but it's such a rush, and I've done it twice already. I would do it again. It's just really fun. It was definitely like a point where I was kind of like starting to do things outside of my comfort zone, and it kind of helped me. Like, it was like a boundary, because, you know, jumping out of a plane isn't something to like take lightly. So I don't know. It kind of just made me feel like more open to trying things in general.
Being spiritual. Trying to be more like not connected to the things like money or material stuff. It helps a lot. It gives you inner peace. It's just different. I think everyone should try it.
Can I say whatever I want? Well, I hope my mom doesn't see this, but like psychedelics, it's super cool. Everyone should definitely try them at least once. I don't know, it just gave me a whole new outlook on, I don't know, it was just a good experience. It was cool. It's just a cool, neat way to look at the world for a short amount of time.
Skiing. I only ski green slopes, easy blue slopes, but when you're on skis, you're slicing through the air, and it's just feeling like flying. And around you, it's all totally white. The trees are laden with snow, and it's silent except for the crushing of the snow as you ski through. When you turn and you make a left or right turn on your skis, you hear a little slush sound. It's really wonderful. Don't go fast, though. Don't ski black slopes, but skiing is fun.
DMT. It's really, you can't really put it into words. I would say because the language that we have constructed is used to describe this reality as we know it, and it's such a alien experience. There's really no words that could describe it. So, but that would probably be one of the most profound experiences I've ever had. Oh, it's life-changing for sure. Yeah, it completely changes your perception on everything. I like to put it in, okay, so like, I like to think of my mind as like a snowy hill, right? And your thought patterns and your behavior patterns are like snowballs rolling down the hill. So as you get older, you start getting into these patterns, right? And you start getting into these ruts, and you kind of start to, it's almost like you have a filter on, and you're missing all like the wonder and the beauty of everything. Kind of like when you're a child, it's like everything's, it's like you're seeing everything for the first time. And for me, really any psychedelic experience is like a fresh snowfall. So a fresh snowfall on the hill, so that I'm able to have, create new thought patterns and behavior patterns. It's like I have, it's like for the first time in my life, I have a say in everything. It's a long conversation, you know what I mean? So it's something that if you try to explain it to someone who's never experienced it, you can't really, you're not gonna have an idea in your head that's accurate unless you experience it. So.
I have a good answer, a weird answer for this. I think everyone should experience taking psychedelic mushrooms. I'm serious. It's it'll break down your ego and any looming anxieties you have that are just based in fear and stupid reasons. I don't know. It really clears your head, and you feel more connected to the earth. I think it's a great experience. It would make a lot of people nicer too, and they would get off their phones more. Yeah, I say mushrooms. Psilocybin. What do you think?
You have a great answer. I was gonna say drink water. I know so many people who only drink Diet Coke and coffee, and they don't drink water, and then they complain about like, oh, I have a headache, or oh, I can't get rid of my acne. I'm like, just drink some water.